We can shine in a crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the cloud.
And he said, I can't really remember, Mr. Pena, because it was a long time ago. If Napoleon Hill came up with the idea, or I came up with the idea, we need something that cannot be measured. Cannot be measured. And they thought and thought and thought and thought. Personal development. You can't fucking measure personal development. It's the greatest scam there ever was. And that's how personal development was born.
Dreamaholics, how you doing? It is great to be with you. Dreamaholic is somebody who's completely dedicated to making their passion and dreams become a tangible reality. Great to be with you. Got a subject today, my God. Now, have you ever heard somebody say that the personal growth and development world is a complete sham? That the gurus of the industry are completely full of caca and they're just out for your money and they're just there to take from you and da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, that's what some of the people who I'm going to be sharing today have been saying about the industry. Now, as a person who's a part of that industry, because so in essence being referred to as a scam artist, like, you know, I got some things to say regarding this, but I want to just pull up some of the points that some of these guys have raised. Why am I bringing this up, and why is it so important? It's because you can really lose out on an incredible life by listening to really crappy advice. And I think that some of what these guys are saying, and everybody has a right to their opinion, but I think that anything that can potentially disrupt somebody who may have been open to looking at an avenue of education that could have helped them to take their game to that next level and take their business, take their family life, take whatever is important to them, like their health, like this, to that next level. And then you listen to somebody who talks like the way that these guys talk, like this, about the industry. I think it's very dangerous, to be being honest with you. I think it's dangerous. And so I want to share some of these concepts with you because you have to really guard who you listen to. And really think about it before taking it in. As I'm going to run this video, the first guy I'm going to be talking about is Dan Pena. And he's extremely profane. So if you've got kids in the room, please put on your headphones, or this is just a parental alert. You know what I mean? He's extremely profane. You know what I mean? But he's expressing his opinion. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to give my feedback on a couple others. But I'm also going to show you some receipts that disprove what these guys are saying, to show you that personal growth and development is one of the best things that you could ever invest in for yourself. And I guess regardless of who you're investing with, whether it's myself or somebody else's program that you're invested in, and sometimes investment isn't just money, it's also time. Because to be sitting down listening to anybody who doesn't know what they're talking about is a waste of your time. And time is not money, time is life. You know what I mean? Like this, and so you're wasting your life by sitting around listening to people who don't make any sense, who can't help you. I don't care if you're paying for it in terms of dollars or in terms of time or both. All right? So let's get right into this. Dan Pena. Let's hear what this guy is. Apparently this guy's a multi-millionaire. Somebody says a billionaire. Somebody says, on Google, somebody says a trillionaire. I don't really know. But at the end of the day, he's got a lot of money. So apparently, because he's got a lot of money, his opinion really matters. Or does it? Let's take a listen.
So he hired Napoleon Hill to come up with a sales idea, sell life insurance. Supposedly as theory. And the reason I know this is because W. Clement Stone told me in this ear, because I was trying to have a meeting with him. He kept getting sick. Then his house burned down in Chicago, and I never got to meet him in person, so I only got to talk to him on the phone. About 2001, 2002. And he died at 101 or 102. And he said, all of a sudden, and he said, I can't really remember, Mr. Pena, because it was a long time ago. If Napoleon Hill came up with the idea, or I came up with the idea, we need something that cannot be measured. Cannot be measured. And they thought and thought and thought and thought. Personal development. You can't fucking measure personal development. It's the greatest scam there ever was.
Woo! Okay, Dan. How do you really feel? First of all, this isn't the whole thing. I'm going to run the other parts of it, but just check this out. First of all, he claims to have had a conversation with the now late, great W. Clement Stone. W. Clement Stone doesn't know the guy because he just admitted that he'd been trying to get meetings with him and didn't get the meetings. And he never met him in person. He got to talk to him on the phone. So here is this legend of the industry who had partnered and by the way, for those of you who don't know who W. Clement Stone was, just let me give you context real quick. W. Clement Stone, he was the owner of an insurance company, like an insurance sales company. And so he had a lot of sales agents on his team. He partnered with Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, I guess, and he wanted to have some personal growth and development tied to the sales training of his people. And so he partnered with him in order to do that. And they came up with other philosophies that they worked on together over the years. W. Clement Stone, according to Wikipedia, I guess was worth over $500 million. $500 million. Okay? So clearly somebody who's managed to do okay. And he had a philosophy of life that clearly served him, and it would have had to serve his people too on his team, because you're not going to make $500 million in insurance sales if you don't have agents who aren't kicking ass. Does that make sense? So clearly there was education there that worked. Now he's saying that W. Clement Stone told him that they had to come up with an idea that required, where there was no metrics to measure it. So in other words, you're going to tell a complete stranger, this guy, Dan Pena, who calls you, who you're talking with on the phone, and you're going to confess to him that you have developed a complete scam, that I developed something that we had to give it a term where there was no metrics to measure the level of success. Does that make any sense to you? Why would he admit that to him if that was even true? Does it make any sense? Jeez. Okay. Now, I think he's saying calling Dan a liar. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. I have no idea. I wasn't there. I wasn't part of the conversation. I'm just saying it seems far-fetched to me. Because why would somebody confess that? Why would they? And to somebody they don't know. It's different to say if this was his buddy and they've been hanging out and he's like, yo, Bridget, this is a little scam thing I ran. You know what I mean? I did this little hustle. That would make more sense. You know what I mean? Like this. But to tell somebody you don't know, come on. And Dan Pena, you should know better than this, Dan. Dan, seriously, you should really know freaking better. So then he's saying that there was a standard by which there would be no measurement. Nobody gets to $500 million without showing people how to measure goals and to measure objectives and hit those goals and hit those objectives. In the book Think and Grow Rich, in one of the chapters, he talks about, and Napoleon covers, how was your previous year? And is your previous year, did you hit your goals for the previous year? And if not, why not? Like this. And what are the areas of your life that you need to make adjustments with? What is your approach difference that you're going to have to make? This is in Think and Grow Rich. So the precipice, the premise of what Dan is saying, it sounds like complete bullshit to me, because how could that be real when the person who was the author of the book in the book talks about measurable goals? It makes no sense, Dan. It makes no sense. Anyway, let's continue.
Ever was. And that's how personal development was born. A scam that you can't fucking measure. A scam that you can't fucking measure. And look at you. And an industry's been built up over the last 40, 50 years because of it. So you go back and you read your PD book. You listen to your fucking podcast, you worthless pieces of shit. A scam!
First of all, it's amazing to me that an audience would sit in a place where they paid to be. That's not a free venue. And have somebody call them, you worthless piece of shit. You got to be into some different S&M. You know what I mean? Like this, in order to get into this type of stuff. Like, I mean, this is like, yeah, whip me, beat me, I love it. Yeah, this is some 50 Shades of Grey crap. Like in the world of personal growth and development for your mind. I mean, I've never seen, and it's rich to me. Go listen to your podcast. Let me tell you something. Don't listen. Dan Pena, I don't care what he has to teach. I don't care. He's giving out bad advice. I, through listening to podcasts, was introduced to this, the YouTube formula, by a guy by the name of Daryl Eves, who's helped the amount of YouTubers that this guy has helped become multimillionaires is unreal. And he's got a lot of free content that's out there. Yeah. But if I'm listening to Dan Pena, I wouldn't listen to Daryl Eves. If I was listening to Dan Pena, would have never tried to learn anything from Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone, which I got another guy who's actually got another piece I'm going to share with you in a second. But I wouldn't have been listening to that. I wouldn't have been listening to Bob Proctor, one of my first mentors in the business, as a personal growth and development coach, like this, because Bob was one of the best on the planet. Because apparently, there's nothing measurable. But Dan, answer me this, Dan. And I'll just look back to my late great mentor, Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was a fireman in Stouffville, Ontario, Canada. And he was broke. Absolutely broke as a fireman. He owed more money than he made, which is the case of most of the population. Most of the population. He gets the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. A friend gave him the book and said, listen, if you do everything this man tells you, you'll win. You can completely change your life. In his first year of applying the principles of the book, made his first $100,000. And then he made his first $1 million within 24 months. Now, $100,000 back then is equivalent to $1 million today. So he really did technically, because, the US dollar, in the last 4 years, the US dollar has lost 30% of its value. Yeah. So when Bob was on this was a minute. Nothing measurable? From zero to multimillionaire to a guy who's in a private jet? That's not measurable? Dan, please stop. 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 In the Caribbean, they say, stop your noise, brethren. Stop your noise. You're talking pure foolishness. Pure foolishness. Pure foolishness. I don't care how much money you have, Dan. You're misleading and misguiding people. And it's nonsense. I'm not saying, I've never been to his course, so I don't know what the value of his course is, but I'm just talking about his discourse and the way that he's expressing himself, and what he's telling people is complete nonsense. Podcasts have helped a number of people become extremely rich just from getting those ideas from people who are willing to do it. But the truth is that a lot of people need more structure. But nobody ever said that if you just listen to my podcast, you're going to get rich. Who's making that claim? In my own life, from my experience, from Bob Proctor, I went from a guy who didn't know how to launch a coaching business to making 6 figures in my first year as a coach. Now, they say that how many, let's pull up a stat here. Let's pull up a stat when it comes to business. Dan Pena, I swear to God, bro. Holy smokes. Guy's an idiot. I don't care how much money he has. He's an idiot. Oh, no. I pulled up Google Translate. You can tell I'm in the Dominican Republic. Let me pull up Google itself instead of Google Translate. Okay. What percentages of small businesses fail in the first year?
According to LinkedIn, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 20% of small businesses fail within their first year. The failure rate increases to 30% by the end of the second year, 50% by the 5th year, and 70% by the 10th year.
So I've been in the coaching industry now for over 12 years. Yes, Dan. Yes. Now, in fairness, because somebody would say, well, did everybody who attended Bob's seminar or, hell, even Dan's seminar, how many people actually come out and succeed? How many people who go to see Tony Robbins teach succeed? How many people who go to see Grant Cardone succeed? Well, the question is, how many people in regular school succeed? What percentage of any classroom, I'm talking about high school, university, college, or even go to elementary school, what percentage of the students get an A+ in their class? I'll wait. Whenever I go to speak at a school, I'll ask the question, where are the A+ students? Everybody can point to them. And it's usually maybe 2 or 3 out of a room of 30. Because everybody knows who the smartest people in class are. Everybody knows who does best in class. Am I telling the truth or not? Come on, man. What percentage ever succeed, period? As long as one person has been under somebody's stewardship and learned from them and succeeded, it means that anybody can go under their stewardship and succeed. But will everybody apply themselves? Will everybody do it? The short answer is no. Why? Because sometimes for some people, they just weren't ready. I got the book Think and Grow Rich when I was in my early 20s for the first time. I didn't understand the book. I didn't get it. I was first introduced to Tony Robbins. I was in my early 20s when I was introduced to Tony Robbins. There are some people who listened to Tony and became millionaires inside of their first 2 years. That didn't happen for me. Is that Tony Robbins' fault? No. It's mine. I didn't apply what I was being taught. Just like most students in school don't. But we don't look at university and say it's a big sham. How much money do people invest in university courses? $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. Let's actually pull up a fast fact here. Let's pull up a fast fact. I think it's important to do this. How many years does it take the average university student to pay off their student debt?
According to Investopedia, on average, people with student loans have spent just over 21 years paying back their loans.
21 years, 2 decades to pay back student loans. Is that fraud? 21 years, the time and then the money. Okay. So, personal growth and development, is it a scam? I know that, let's continue. Let's continue. I think not, but let's continue. Now, there's another gentleman who pulled out, so the point that I was making before was that, so after coming under Bob, I made a 6-figure income within my first year, within year 1. There were other people in the same class who did not get the same results. But whose fault is that? That one's up for debate. As long as somebody in his class, and there's multiples, because I've got friends who were in my class who've done extremely well, and they're doing their thing in different parts of the world. I made friends for life through at the time it was the Life Success Program that Bob Proctor was running, and I've made friends for life, people who have become multi-millionaires, and people who are absolutely crushing it out there, doing great things. So, and some people aren't millionaires, but they're 6-figure income earners for the first time in their lives. And by what measure do we cover the metrics? You know what I'm saying? So that is my piece on Pena. I think that he's full of nonsense, and I think that he's extremely profane. And anybody would actually sit there and listen to somebody disrespect them in the way that he does, like this. Like he disrespects his audience. And then he shits on an industry that he's actually making money from. Okay, he's a walking contradiction. He may have a lot of money, but he's a walking contradiction. Sorry, Dan. All right, so there's this other person, Mike Willet, who's talking about Grant Cardone. Now let me just play this little clip. Now in fairness, he's talking about Grant Cardone's pitch, but the way that he's talking about the pitch, it makes it sound as though what Grant has to offer is unworthy. So let me play this.
The next 60 minutes, you're going to learn more about business, how to get money, how to keep money than you have probably learned in your entire lifetime. That includes if you went to the Wharton Business School.
Yep, in 60 minutes, Grant is going to teach you more than you could have learned at a business school or in your entire life. This seems legit.
In fact, I'm not only going to teach you, I'm giving you the exact plan.
A ring binder?
Okay, the exact plan right here, the culmination of 40 years of studying.
So I want to earn millions from a 10-page ring binder. Count me in.
Mike Willet. Come on, man. Look, I know you're trying to be satirical. You're trying to be funny. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But the simple truth is, in an hour training with Grant, you do learn more about real estate investing than you probably have if all these agents are out there taking courses to get licenses. You learn a hell of a lot more with Grant. Like, you may get some of the technical know-how from the course, from a real estate course that offers licensing, but in terms of how to actually make money, you do learn a lot more. I challenge somebody to go and watch, and usually they're not an hour, by the way. They're usually about 2 or 3 hours. And I'm not suggesting that Grant doesn't have a pitch fest where he's selling his program. Yes, he does. But at the end of the day, is when Mike Willet's claim that there's no learning, or that you can't learn as much as you would have learned in a school inside of a couple of hours. And I think Grant's telling the truth, and not just think, I know, because I've actually been. I've actually been. But clearly, Mike Willet is not satisfied with what he learned on the seminar, on the online seminar that he had with him. But I just want to warn Mike, look, buddy, I know you want to get your clicks on YouTube, and your whole thing is about showing up people who are in the industry and talking about how they're manipulating, for lack of a, this is basically what the precipice of his stuff. And again, you can go take a look at his stuff. For everything that I'm sharing, I will put links in the description, so you can go and you can watch these whole things in their entirety and go and get your own, and make your own, come up with your own conclusion. So, because I am just showing little clips here, in fairness, but at the end of the day, yes, you can. And it's not just a booklet, it's what's inside the book, bro. Come on, man. Like, if I just say, well, here's an empty binder and there's nothing in it, or here's a booklet thing, yeah, here, and I'm going to find enough to make millions. Yes, there's enough principles in what Grant teaches, not just to make millions, but hundreds of millions. And I've met people personally who've actually got those materials, and I'm also going to share my experience in a moment in terms of the person who's actually bought the course. So let's continue. Again, we're talking about personal growth and development, and who should you really be listening to? I don't think this is the guy you should listen to. I don't. As much as he's entertaining, like, he is fun to watch. I will give him that. Like, Mike, you're fun to watch, Mike. I like it. Much better than Pena. Oh my God, I could actually watch Mike. I can't stomach Pena.
When I could not pay my rent, and I had to dodge the guy that owns the place. What's he called?
Landlord, Grant. He's a landlord. You work in real estate, for fuck's sake.
Listen to me. I'm not bragging to you right now. I'm not showing you this to show off.
I think that is why you're showing it as, Grant. It's called wishful identification, my friend. It's on the card.
Look, it doesn't matter who you are, by the way. It doesn't matter where you live.
You need to 10 exercise that boat, Grant.
What I can guarantee you is that everything I'm going to share with you today works. The 7 secrets.
7?
For getting business results.
Wow, that looks in-depth.
Can you let them know what the cash is for really quick? People
All
are going
right,
nuts
let's
in the
pause
comments.
this here. Now, Mike, he's making jokes about how many principles you get and all of that. Look, I'll say this to you. I will agree with you, Mike, that Grant's approach in his webinar is over the top, and in my opinion, I don't think it's great. And I told Grant this to his face when I actually went to his seminar. I asked Grant the question. I said, Grant, because if you've actually attended his seminar and you listen to him speak at the front, the man is brilliant. I mean, the depth of knowledge that Grant Cardone has is absolutely fantastic. Like, Grant is a beast. He is brilliant, and he knows what he's doing and knows what he's talking about. Like, he is incredible. And I asked him, because I was I signed up for the VIP, and so I was in the VIP lunch where we get the chance to, in a more intimate environment, ask him questions. And I said to him, I said, Grant, I've watched your stuff on YouTube. I've seen you online, and you come across as a bit tacky and over the top. I'm lost. Like, why don't you just do talk the way you're talking in the seminar room here. Like, why don't you just do that? I think you would have a lineup around the stadium because the education is first class. Like, and he said to me, he says, man, this is my marketing. It's just, I just do what I do, man. I'm just getting the people's attention, get people talking and pricking the attention. And I said, yeah, but there's people who will get turned off by that. You know what I mean? Like this, who unfortunately sometimes will lose out on an opportunity. So, Mike, I give you that. You know what I mean in terms of his approach. However, from a results perspective, Grant Cardone is for real. And I would tell you, as a person who actually invested the money, I invested 25 grand. I went to the Real Estate Investment Summit. The seminar was a couple $100, but then I invested in the summit. And what I will say is that the level of education that I received is part of the reason I'm here in the Dominican Republic with my development here in the DR. This wouldn't exist. And one of the key things that he gives you, he gives you a couple of different opportunities. One, it's you can go do it yourself. Here's the course, here's the information, go do it yourself. You know what I mean? Two, sign up for a more advanced program like this, which is the one I did, and then you get to join in on the weekly trainings, which are incredible, by the way. And Grant's not a guy who's just out there take your money. There are people, if you can go find the deal, he'll help you get it funded. Yeah, I witnessed this myself. You know what I mean? Like this. And so if you don't have the money, because some people say, well, he's just trying to get my money. You don't have to have you just have to have the money to do the course. You know what I mean? Like this. And from you take that, he puts you in a position through the environment, and he wants you to learn how to assess deals properly so you don't lose money. That's real. I've watched the amount of deals I've seen actually get done myself personally watching it is phenomenal. So I would agree that his sales approach in the webinar, in my opinion, could use some work, but at the end of the day, the man is doing hundreds of millions of dollars, selling his course. So clearly, there are people who actually, it's effective, you know what I mean, because people are buying it, right? So, hey, he's got a formula, and it's working for him. But my caution in listening to Mike, and it's just because of the whole tone that you're kind of coming across with Mike, is though Grant doesn't know what he's talking about, and that he's selling a pipe dream, and that what he's offering has no value, and that's not true. Yes, there's a lot of value there, as long as you're, just like anything else, willing to apply yourself. But the environment, like I met my business partner at the Wealth Summit that he was promoting. That's where I met him, Henry Williams Jr. And Henry, by the way, is also invested in the Cardone Capital, and he's making money. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Like this. Now, we've got our own projects that we're doing, but some people choose to invest with Grant. Some people do some with Grant, some on their own. Some people do nothing with Grant, and they do all their own thing. That's a personal choice. But at the end of the day, it's effective. I guess it's effective. So I'm just saying that we need to be careful who we listen to. We need to be careful who we listen to, because even though they may be well-meaning, they could be misleading. You know, I guess, and that misleading part is the danger, because you could lose out on a hell of an opportunity to go out and create something incredible for yourself and your family. You know, and it frustrates me when I see people coming out with this type of nonsense. You know, now I'm going to do, because I don't want to make this a 1 hour long video, I am going to be doing another follow-up video, because there are people who have referred to the personal growth and development industry as a cult, and or the cult of personality. And you know, and to me, it's something where I want to close out on this, because I did promise you I'll give you some tools to listen to, tools that can help you to elevate. We should never get caught up in any personality, because personalities come from people, and people aren't perfect. People can make mistakes. You know what I mean? Like this. And when you get caught up in personality, so you say you get caught up in my personality, and I happen to make a life decision that was stupid, and I screw up, I make a mistake. Now all of a sudden your whole life is shattered because I made a mistake. You know, like we should never. You're not supposed to worship people. You're supposed to worship God. That's it. God is the only being worthy of worship. I guess we respect one another. You know what I mean? We can admire one another, but worship we shouldn't be doing. And I guess, and knowing that even as I'm talking and I'm expressing myself, I'm not perfect. I'll make mistakes, but my intention is to do good. It's to help people. It's to help people succeed. And coming back to Pena's point at the very beginning, when he talked about things aren't measurable, well, nonsense. Go to my YouTube channel right now. I guess when I'm pulling up the page right now, go to my YouTube channel and go to Win with Noel, 10 million strong successes, and scroll through those and press play. Those are all real results, guys. There's no cap here. That's real. Like my students make money. I've taken like literally like the last 2 years off of doing the courses. We're about to restart the programs, and it's like I've had the amount of students who have messaged me saying, man, when are you restarting the classes? When are you going? Because people want to be around it. They want to be plugged in. They want to continue to grow. And I would say that anybody who wants more in life, you've got to make personal growth and development a part of your life. You've got to make it a part of your life. It's not something a seminar you just go to. Sort of like with me in the gym now. At first, the gym was just there because I didn't want to because I had a big belly, I guess, you know what I mean? And I was 35 pounds overweight, you know what I mean? And, and wasn't looking good and wasn't feeling good. So my first motivation was, I just want to get rid of this. I'm going to the gym. It's a chore. I'm going to do it just so that I can get this result. But now that I'm in the gym and I've been in there and I've lost, the 35 pounds, and I got a six-pack coming in, chest coming in, everything's starting to come in. Now it's actually part of the lifestyle. I actually want to exercise. I actually want to go to the gym. I'm actually motivated to do it. So the first tool I want to give you is, as it came from my mentor, he says, any task that you don't want to do it until you want to do it. Then you won't have to do it anymore. So. Or you can find somebody else to do it, right? So that's tool number one. Learn to be willing to do things that aren't necessarily things that you necessarily enjoy initially. And then you can work on bringing in other people on your team so that they can now go ahead and take those things over for you if you want to replace it. But some of the things that I didn't enjoy doing, I didn't enjoy working out at all. It was a real chore. Just getting the motivation to get to the car, to go to the gym was like, oh my God. Whew. Give me a root canal with no Novocaine. Wasn't appealing. But now I actually, just the other day I was actually in the gym and I injured my back a little bit. I'm still feeling it a bit right now. And it's aggravating me that I can't get to the gym. You know what I mean? So things for me internally have changed, right? So that's tool number one. Number two is that if you're serious about growth, the same way, part of the reason that you can Netflix binge, or when it comes to sports, some people, they say that people have attention deficit disorder, but people will watch football on football Sunday all day. And for me, it's basketball. So I can watch basketball on Christmas Day. I will watch all of them all the games back to back to back to back to back. And just keep the drinks and the food coming. You know what I mean? Like this, I'm good. Why can I do that? Because for me, it's a release and it's something that I enjoy. You have to find your joy in whatever it is you're doing. Tony Robbins once talked about the fact that when he was doing when he first blew up on the scene, and his phone was blowing up, and everybody wanted a piece of Tony. Everybody wanted a piece of Tony, and it had to be Tony they spoke to. And after a while, he started to dislike taking phone calls, and he said, "You know what? This is the business that I'm in. So I better start enjoying this stuff or start finding a way to find some joy in it. Otherwise, this is going to be a long ride." So then he started, to say, he loved sitting in his jacuzzi tub. So he would sit in the jacuzzi and then he'd take his calls there. Like this. And so now he's sitting in the phone, he's taking his calls, and he actually enjoyed that more. He found fun in doing what he was doing. You got to find some fun in doing things like this. That's another tool. And somebody said, that sounds really simplistic. It's simplistic, but it's real. You got to find joy. If you don't find joy, you're not going to do it. The two motivating factors in life are pain and pleasure. You'll do everything you can do to avoid pain and everything you can do to gain pleasure. So if you don't find joy in doing something, you're not going to stick with it. Does that make sense? So those are some tools that I'm giving you right now. And I want you to start to really think about what you want in this life. What do you really want to create? If you could be, do, or have anything, what would it be? Let me know in the comments what some of those things would be. And then what I want you to do is start writing those things down. And I want you to start to do the opposite of what Pena has said to do. I want you to start looking up, whether it's and first of all, if you're loving my material, that's great, and keep watching, please, and sharing and subscribing, and keep passing it out there. But but also look into people who maybe specifically in your industry like this, and start looking up different folks that you can follow, different podcasts that you can, because you can get a lot of good stuff for free, and you can get a lot of different ideas from people for free. And then once you find an area, somebody that you really like or resonates with you, then make that financial investment and jump into their course, jump into their program, jump into my programs. Like there's somebody who say, Noel, like, why do you keep promoting other people? You're not just promoting your stuff. I want you to win. I don't really care who helps you get there. I want you to win. And there are 7 billion people on the planet. I can't serve everybody. You know what I mean? So there's more than enough room to go around without there. And sometimes, like for me, I have multiple mentors. I have multiple people that I plug into for inspiration, for guidance, for support. I have a bunch of different people. I would recommend the same thing for you. You don't need to just get it from one source. You can get it from multiple, and take the best elements of each. One of the things that Bob Proctor said, he says, Noel has all of our material. He's got his own material. Make it your material.
It's a paradigm. It's something that's going on in here. This man knows how to change it for you. I've been working with people all over the world now for 42 years. And I'm going to tell you, you do as well as anybody I've ever watched. You got their attention, you've got their mind open, and then you're giving them the right information. And that's what you need. That's what everybody needs. So click the mouse and give him a call. You know, he and I work with exactly the same stuff. He works with all our material, works with his own material, and you know, let it become your material. I guarantee you, your results will just go right up like a rocket.
So the whole idea is that we're getting ideas from different places, and now we take it and we do our own thing with it, and then we take it and we elevate our game and we take things to that next level. So I really hope that you got a lot from watching this today. I hope you got my passion for really wanting to answer the critics, because I think that we need to be careful. And my message to Mike, again, I know you're doing stuff in fun, but I think that you have to be careful because. And maybe you don't really care. Maybe you don't really give a shit. Maybe for you, it's a situation where I just want my likes, I want my views, you know what I mean? I want my subscribers, I want to get paid. And because you did market something, you had a sponsor in your video that you marketed so that you're clearly an affiliate for, so you're making money, right? So I get it, it's a business. But there's a way that you can do the business where you can maybe have fun giving a critique, but also show the other side of it. Show where the promise is, where the potential is, where good things can be that people could actually take from something so that they can use it, as opposed to being somewhere that turns people off from listening to something that we're blocking a blessing. I'm telling you directly, Grant Cardone has been a blessing in my life. I'm not making any money off of telling you this. There's no affiliate link. I'm not getting paid. It's the truth. Tony Robbins has been great. I'm not getting any link. Making any money off of telling you that. Bob Proctor's programs have been great. I'm not making any money telling you that. Are you getting me? I have nothing to gain by telling you that. Nothing. It's the truth. And Pena, what I have to gain in telling you not to listen to people like him is that, one, never put yourself in a situation where anybody dehumanizes you and disrespects you. Ever. I don't care. I don't care how much money somebody has. Nobody is better than you. God didn't make no junk. You are the greatest physical manifestation of anything you could potentially be. And the way and Dan's attitude and his approach to what he's doing, his courses may be good. I don't know. His courses may be great. I don't know. But with an attitude like that, to be sit in front of somebody to be berated and disrespected, the hell with that nonsense as far as I'm concerned. So I would advise against listening to somebody who carries that type of an attitude. It's not just the education, but it's the attitude. It's not just what you say that matters. It's how you say it also matters. And I think he's absolutely disgusting in his approach, and it's something that I abhor personally. It goes completely against my values, I guess, and so that's what it is. So that is my take for today. I hope you got massive value. If you do, please like, share, subscribe. And when I got my courses, yes, sign up. Have a powerful day. Bless.
We can shine in a crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds.